Hey guys, Chris Summers here, Summers Plumbing, and today we're going to talk about electric water heaters. So this is a 50-gallon electric water heater. This is the most common water heater that is in most homes in our area. And I kind of just want to show you how a water heater works if you don't know. So we have cold water comes in through your city or well, and it goes down through a tube to the bottom of the heater. This is your hot water that comes out. So when you open a faucet, cold water is pushing in and it's actually pushing hot water out. So on this electric water heater, let me show you how it works. We have power that comes in. This is the fuel source, is electricity, okay? This is 220 volts. Each one of these is 110. Behind here, this is an older heater that we took out of a customer's home. You have an upper thermostat and an upper element, which looks like this. This is your thermostat. Your wires come in right here and it sends power down to your element. The bottom screws, when it calls for it, sends power to your lower thermostat, which is behind the bottom door on a water heater. So these are your two parts that control. This is the brain of an electric water heater. How does it work? It just sits against the metal tank. There's a spring in there. As the tank heats up, there's a metal spring that'll expand and this cuts off when it gets hot enough. Here's the element. This is the part that actually heats the water, and this looks like the old stove eye on your grandma's stove. It's the same kind of material, just kind of goes in, goes out. It's screwed in right here, and it's actually in the water, and the water actually keeps it cool from burning up. Most times when someone calls and their water heater's not working, it's because this element has gone bad, broken off, and most of the times it's always the bottom element because of trash. So your upper thermostat comes on first and tells this to heat. They do not work at the same time. Once the top half of the tank is hot, the thermostat tells the bottom thermostat to come on and actually heats the bottom first. Most water heaters have a valve on the cold side that you will just turn off. This is how you shut this fixture off, is with this valve. Now this is not the exact valve you use on this type of pipe, but this is a generic valve, but this is how you turn them on and off. On, off. More parts of the water heater. So what is this? This is the most important part of the water heater. This is your safety valve. This is called a T and P valve, the letter T and the letter P, and it stands for temperature and pressure. So it's a combination of two things. This is a steel tank that has an energy source to heat, okay? So if your thermostat malfunctions and continues to send power through the element into the heater, it will boil the water. Water turns to steam. One part of water, when it goes to steam, it expands 1,700 times. It's got to go somewhere, right? It is a bomb. This will open up and free the pressure so the water heater doesn't explode. And by explode, don't let me scare you. It'll just split open and flood everything around it. Your T and P valve is very important. There should be a pipe hooked to this. This must go outside and turn down. If this opens, your water temperature is between 180 and 210 degrees. If this hot water touches your skin, it will burn you instantly. This is very important. This must go out. If we work on your water heater, I cannot leave your home until this is secured and out. It's just a dangerous situation. More parts of your electric water heater. This is probably the most ignored part of a water heater. This is the reason most water heaters fail prematurely. Most heaters, you'll get 8 to 12, 13 years out of it. If you're lucky, maybe 15 years. You'll get a lot longer if you drain it, but I can talk about that later. But this is the anode rod, and this rod is made of magnesium. It's actually located in the top of the water heater. The water will attack this rod over time instead of attacking your tank. So when this rod over time eats down and it goes nothing left, the water actually starts to eat your tank, and that's what makes them leak. Also, one of the common things we hear, hey, my hot water smells like rotten eggs. So if we come to your house and we determine that it's only on the hot side, it's coming from your heater, this magnesium rod gets pulled out and we'll put a different rod in, usually in aluminum. It's very important that you drain these water heaters every year. Nobody does it, not even myself, but actually to hold the warranty up, we're supposed to drain it once a year. Come here, let me show you what's inside of a water heater. So I took this water heater and I sawed a hole in it, and I want to show you what's inside your water heater at home. Come take a look. So this is the inside of your water heater. As you can see, this is the tank. This is the inside part that holds the water. In here is the foam insulation, and this is what we call the jacket. but this is just a thin layer steel tank. If you look inside right here, this piece hanging down right here is the old anode rod that had failed, causing this heater to leak. And if you look in this heater, all this debris you see in here, this is what's in the bottom of your water heater. So what is this? This is actually the dirt and the minerals in the water as it's heating and breaking down. A lot of it's just calcium. As your water heats, the particles separate from the water and falls to the bottom. Any kind of impurities you have in your water fall to the bottom of the tank. So if you're on a well, you're gonna have dirt, rocks, any kind of small particles. They'll get in here and actually fall to the bottom. This is the reason you guys should be draining your water heater. This is what you're taking a shower with. This is in your tank. So this is a different water heater because my old heater doesn't have a valve on it, but you want to know how to drain your water heater. Every water heater has a valve on the bottom, and you hook a water hose to it and you open the valve and the water comes out. Keep in mind this water is usually hot. So the best thing to do if you want to drain your heater is to turn your breaker off before you work on your water heater. So find your breaker that says water heater and turn it off. So once you've turned your breaker off, you'll turn your water off to the water heater. You'll take a water hose and you'll hook it to the valve that's down at the bottom. You'll open the valve up and it should begin to drain. Sometimes there's a lot of dirt and stuff's clogged in the bottom and it's clogging that valve up. So what you want to do, you can kind of cheat a little bit. Get your hose outside, open this up and bump this valve open a little bit. Send some pressure down through it and it will actually push some of that dirt out. Once the water's flowing, turn your valve back off so you're not wasting water. So this is actually a 50-gallon water heater, but you don't get 50 gallons out of it immediately. When you're taking a shower, 2.5 gallons a minute is coming out of the shower head. And if you do the math, it doesn't take long, maybe 20 minutes and you're out of hot water, because cold water is actually coming in here and diluting some of the hot water from the bottom up. That's why when you're taking a shower, it actually starts to get warm before you lose, because you're actually grabbing all the hot water out of the tank as the cold water is pushing in. On an electric water heater, typically inside of a home, it cannot keep up with demand. So you'll get 1 or 2 showers and it's all based on water temperature. Why does water heaters heat faster in the summer? Well, coming from the city water supply, usually in the summer, the water is between 80 and 90 degrees. These thermostats are set at 120. So to go from 90 degrees to 120, it doesn't take a lot of energy, so you'll get more hot water in the summer. In the winter, the water is coming in at 40, 45 degrees. This heater has to heat the water from 45 degrees to 120. That's why in the wintertime, you have less hot water. It takes longer to heat up because it actually has to use more energy to heat the water. For more information on electric water heaters, for cost to install, even if you have a question, you can contact me, Chris Summers, at summers-plumbing.com.